Today what we're going to have a look at is the classic negative externality diagram, and we're going to use the marginal approach. Sometimes you can use the supply and demand approach if you wish, but I've chosen to do this. I think it's more helpful. What is a negative externality? Well, a negative externality occurs when social cost is greater than private cost. What do we mean by that? Well, of course, private cost is the cost of the individual, social cost is the full cost. The difference between them is the external cost, or the negative externality. So don't forget that. Negative externalities result in social cost being greater than private cost, and that difference is the externality or external cost. If we look at this diagram then, we've got on the axes price and quantity, or up here we've got cost, benefit and price because it's a marginal diagram. Our initial equilibrium then is at point A, where marginal private cost is equal to marginal private benefit. Also note here that marginal private benefit is equal to marginal social benefit because I'm assuming no positive externalities. We have a situation then at A, or the private equilibrium, at QM, PM. But what we can see from this is that marginal social cost is at a lower output. So quite clearly we've got overconsumption or overproduction of this good with negative externalities, usually demerit goods. What we need then is ideally to be at point B. So what happens? If we're at point A, where marginal private cost equals marginal private benefit, we've got this difference between private costs and social costs. Now, for instance, private cost of smoking could be the cost of buying the cigarettes, but of course the social costs include the fact that I might need hospital treatment, or I might passive smoking might have an issue with other people, and therefore there's a divergence between the two. Hence we can see here, this distance here is the actual size of the external cost. We also have a triangle here, and this is known as welfare loss. All this means is that if you're consuming at point A, it's quite clear that for a range of output from here to here, marginal social cost is greater than marginal social benefit. Marginal social cost is greater than marginal social benefit. And you can see that happens for this entire area here. So that's welfare loss. So, what do we want? Well, ideally what we want is to get to a situation at B, because therefore we've got the negative externality has been internalised. If we're at B, of course, we're at a higher price and a lower quantity. So really, what are we saying? We're saying that with negative externalities, we tend to have overproduction or overconsumption. We tend to have a price lower than is perhaps needed to internalise the negative externality. And we also have allocative inefficiency because resources are not being used as efficiently as they could. And that basically summarises it.